Joining me now, Robert Malley, former U.S. Special Envoy for Iran. He was a lead negotiator on the 2015 Iran nuclear deal. He is also co-author of the book, Tomorrow is Yesterday, Life, Death, and the Pursuit of Peace in Israel-Palestine. Robert, welcome. First off, can I ask how surprising it is that the U.S. Vice President is leading talks at this stage? Does sending such a high-level official suggest confidence that some kind of a framework of a potential deal may have already been carved out?
I wouldn't jump to that conclusion quite yet. I think what it shows is, A, that the United States would like to find a way out of this war, and B, that the Iranians would have preferred to see J.D. Vance than either Steve Witkoff or Jared Kushner at the head of the table, because they've had pretty unsatisfactory, unpleasant experiences with the latter two. So I think it's a sign that, the U.S. is taking this seriously, Iran is taking it seriously. Seriousness isn't enough, but it is at least a necessary condition for things to move forward.
So Iran Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi and the parliamentary speaker, they are on the other side of the table. And for Vance on the U.S. side, this is his first, let's call it a diplomatic rodeo, right? Did you negotiate with either of these Iranians? I mean, what do you sense he's up against?
So myself and the other members of the team got to know Abbas Araghchi well, both certainly in 2015 negotiations. He also was the foreign minister at the beginning of the Biden administration. We didn't meet with him because at that point, the Iranians insisted that they only be indirect talks. So I think just looking at the Iranian team as a whole, it's a large team. It's a team of people who know the file from every angle, whether it's nuclear, economic, geopolitical, or whatnot. It's a team that, if past as precedent, wants to do things very methodically, move relatively slowly to make sure that they've dot every I and crossed every T, and that they could get as much as possible out of these negotiations. That's worked for them sometimes in the past. The trick is, on the other hand, you have President Trump. Even though J.D. Vance is at the table, President Trump is still, leading the charge. He's impatient. He can be impetuous. And therefore, one side's style is not necessarily conforming to the other side's. And so it may be difficult for the Iranians to continue in that vein if President Trump insists on quick results. That's what we're going to have to see over the coming days.
What do you think Vice President Vance, though, should be watching out for? Because to your point, and to reporting from Imzimam Rashid, Iran has sent a delegation of 70 people. To your point, those that know the ins and outs of everything that would be on the table and up for discussion. I mean, deeply knowing that. Does it give Iran at all an edge because they're the ones who know where everything is and how much uranium enrichment they have, potentially, while the United States has to rely on military, intelligence, and the like to know what Iran actually has?
Well, yes and no. I mean, there's an asymmetry. There's an asymmetry because Iran right now feels, rightly or wrongly, that it's in the driver's seat because at any moment it could block the Strait of Hormuz, that it is currently blocked despite the presence of a U.S. Navy vessel there. They could close it at any time, and they know that will cost President Trump enormously, economically, politically, in every way. So they feel like they have that edge. But at the end of the day, if they want to deal, they're going to have to put their cards on the table, whether it's the cards about allowing free passage in the Strait of Hormuz, showing where the 400 kilograms of highly enriched is hidden, or whether it's under the rubble, and whether they're prepared to hand it over or to dilute it. Those are very serious questions. But right now, I think if what Vice President Vance has to bear in mind is that it's not as if Iran is ready for a quick, clean deal in which they would capitulate. If that's his president's expectations, he should pack up and go home. This is not going to be clean. It's not going to be quick. And it certainly is not going to end with Iran's surrender. It's going to have to be a compromise where both sides get something out of it.
Well, certainly the ongoing talks right now, it's well after midnight there, and the talks are reportedly still underway. The fact that we have sent from the United States State and Defense Department officials among the U.S. delegation, as well as National Security Council officials, does that suggest to you a level of sincerity on the U.S. side to get something done?
Again, I think President Trump would like a way out. He doesn't want this war to continue. He'd rather it end with a deal that he could parade as a success. But if not, I think he's prepared either to walk away or to bomb Iran one more time and then declare victory. But yes, if he could get a deal, I think that would be something that he would be happy to show the rest of the world. I don't know the composition of the U.S. team. What I still don't see is a nuclear expert or an expert from the Treasury Department on sanctions. It doesn't mean they're not being consulted. But I don't think that this round of negotiations is going to yield a comprehensive deal. I think what we should hopefully get out of it, what they should get out of it, is an opening of the Strait of Hormuz, some sanctions relief for Iran. That creates the basis for future negotiations that will deal with all the other issues that you mentioned.
Okay. Looks like there's a long road ahead. Robert Malley, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate your time and expertise.